here's your host, Alex Garrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us in New York City. Are you ready?
Welcome inside Adapting with Alex Garrett.
Oh, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Let's adapt together right now. Arguably one of the biggest adaptations this year just ended, as a matter of fact, because the Masters, yes, the Masters is over and out. And, well, how did it go? I will let Mr. Jim Nantz tell you that one.
The name Dustin Johnson alongside the phrase Masters champion. Spectacular 4 days around here. A pair of 65s, a closing 68. He wins by 5, and he shares it every step of the way with his little brother. Congratulations to Dustin Johnson, the 2020 Masters champion.
Now, it's got to be emotional for Jim Nantz, too, right? Because if you remember, Jim Nantz was going to do March Madness. That was called in the early part of March. Well, in March. Then he was going to do the Masters in April. That was called. But I think for anybody who loves sports, who loves the game, and who loves announcing, to be able to do this even in November is special. To see it as a fan and as a reporter and a spectator is special. Because the Masters is classic no matter what time of year. And obviously the players today, 43 of them under par, by the way, they all had to adapt to this. They had to adapt to the fall weather in Georgia, in Augusta National. And of course, during the day, these tournaments tend to take twists and turns. So for Dustin Johnson, he said he looked up at the leaderboard a couple of times, but for him to maintain a lead, grow it to 20 under, he adapted pretty well, obviously, well on his way to his first green jacket. He's actually world number 1, by the way. And so kudos to Dustin Johnson, and kudos to the Masters for pulling this off. After, as I keep telling people, we didn't know what was going to go on in the early part of March. We didn't know if sports was going to even be played when spring training shut down, when March Madness shut down, when they called the first game of the Big East Thursday round featuring St. John's. They called it the first half. That was it. We didn't know what was going to go on after that. But each of these sports has adapted. And for the Masters to do it, and do it with such class the last 4 days, rain and all, on Thursday, is special. As a sports fan, it's special. As an observer of what we've seen the last few months, it's special. And as someone who is, quote-unquote, high risk, for me to be able to see it is special too. But imagine mentally having to put something off for months after really revving up to do it. Remember, these guys prepare for the Masters. They keep going in weekend tournaments before the Masters. Imagine preparing yourself mentally. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the Masters. Only to have it called a month before. Only to not know if you were going to even play the Masters and earn a chance to do get the green jacket. To adapt to that and then do one of the best scores in tournament history is amazing adaptability. See, as I've said before, adaptation is typically associated with people that are disabled. But I think able-bodied people have to make those adaptations too. And Dustin Johnson and those who were 43 players under par today at Augusta, the final round of the Masters, proved that to be the case. They're humans too. Their abilities, and they have abilities, but their mentality also needed to be switched up because of this. Okay, we got to keep training the next few months. Oh wait, we're locked down. Where are we going to do it? Oh, we'll do it in our home or something like that. They found a way to train. They found a way to succeed at the Masters. you wouldn't see it because, these guys go about their day on the course. But in all honesty, I'm sure it was nerve-wracking figuring out if they were going to play in March, and then, to top it off, figuring out how to beat the field in November in different weather in Augusta. This is not normal. It's not normal that Augusta National has the Masters in November. Typically because golf tournaments by now are done. In this part of the world anyway. Typically because the Northeast, the Southeast, has colder weather, so they don't play. That's why the Masters is in April, obviously. But this year was an exception like we've never seen. And this exception this year, like we've never seen, was met to a T, pun intended, by all the golfers out there. I don't care if they were over. But the fact that 43 of them were under, the fact that Dustin Johnson himself crushed the record and made history today is very, very intriguing. And it shows adaptability. And it shows that no matter when something takes place, if it does get postponed, we can adapt to that. It proved to me something that I've felt a long time, that life is not a race. Life is only a race if we make it that in our head. If we have to rush to the Masters to get it over with, instead of adapting to postpone the Masters, if needed, the golf course is not a race. I mean, some guys zoom through it. That's true. But for the most part, golf especially is not a race. There is no clock. It's just pure concentration and focus to get the ball to the green with under par, with a minimum of a maximum of 3 shots. If you're going to go under par or par, 4 on some. So today we saw adaptability. We also saw, and I'm trying to figure out the race theory, the race idea. It could inspire people, okay? It could inspire people that if they can't finish off their education right now, they can pick it up again. If you have to put something off, you can finish it months later. Because that is how life can work, and sometimes work out in your favor. They were blessed this weekend with great weather in Georgia in the middle of November. 79-degree day down there. But we too can be blessed with perfect circumstances or near perfect circumstances. If we realize, if it doesn't work right now, we can put it off for the moment. Tomorrow, maybe. But put it off in general till we feel it's right. And then win it, crush it months later. That's the adaptability I feel. Is that these guys were able to put off the tournament, then pull it off in November, and then Dustin Johnson was able to crush through it, as were others. Cameron Smith, 15 under. Rory McIlroy surging today as well. And so I don't think that this idea of rushing things through need apply anymore. Because clearly we can put up something and dominate it months later. It may not be ideal, but it is a timing thing. God's timing for all of these sports this year shone through. And the Masters is another example. And so, what do you feel burdened by today? Let me ask you about that way. What can you adapt to months later that you aren't ready to adapt to right now? Because if these guys can wait for months to play the Masters and be under 43 players under par in Augusta, that means us, the people who may have skills in other ways, other talents, may also need to say, let me take a step back from this for a minute. Let me focus on something else for a minute and get back to that when I feel I'm really good and ready. And ready to take it on and crush it. That's what today showed me. That adaptability does mean putting it off if we need to. That adaptability does mean really adapting schedule, adapting to life, adapting to something that could suit our needs better and safer. So kudos to the Masters, and kudos to the Masters for teaching us that it doesn't have to always be on time. They say love doesn't come on time. Love isn't always on time. Life isn't always on time. It's on the time that just makes sense. So we can take that lesson today of a Masters in November and say, yeah, if they can pull it off, we can slow our lives down a little bit more and say, what can we put off till we're good and ready to play ball? That's the big thing I think I learned today is what can we put off for the moment till we're good and ready and adapted to truly add on more? The question is, what can you adapt your life to right now and say, I'm so frustrated trying to get this to work, but you know what? If the Masters can make something work a few months later, so can I. Acknowledging that, yes, nothing has to happen all at once, but in time, it's probably one of the biggest adaptations we can make. And I say we can learn that from the Masters today. Congratulations, Dustin Johnson. Congratulations to the Masters. Congratulations to all who covered the Masters, including my friend Ann Ligori. And I guess we'll see in April when it comes to that, right? For now, adapt at your own pace. That is my message today after watching the Masters adapt at their own pace, after watching the golfers adapt at their own pace on the golf course. Because if we do it in our own time, that's also God's time. Because he'll be like, yes, you were right to put something off till you were ready. And here's the opportunity for you. Go for it, even if it's months down the road. I'm Alex Garrett. We'll talk to you soon.